Well, hello there, folks. So, I wanted to talk about a question that I get asked very frequently that has to do with the tax return. And it's, will I get a refund or will I owe money? I've always gotten a refund for the last 5 years. Why in the heck do I all of a sudden owe? And that certainly happened a lot during 2017, 2018 when tax law changes happened. But I want to walk you through kind of a high level of the tax equation. There can be a lot more specificity to this, so I'm simplifying the process, truncating it down. And I want to show you kind of from a big picture how it calculates and why I will give you the answer. I don't know. It depends. So if we look here, for the majority of taxpayers, the income is sourced from a Form W-2, maybe a bank interest statement or something like that, which is very, very small. But that's where the majority of the income comes from. The deductions are typically the standard deduction. Every taxpayer predominantly gets those. So that comes down to your taxable income, which is right here. Do some math, which is basically found here in these tax brackets, depending on whether you're single, whether you're a head of household, married, filing jointly. You could also file separately as a married individual. From a tax perspective, that typically is very disadvantageous the vast majority of the time, but that still is a filing option. Once you do the math of your tax brackets, a tax calculation is created. From there, we have to see how much was actually withheld from your paychecks by your employer, or estimated tax payments if you are self-employed. Anyway, some form of withholding. And if that withholding exceeds the tax calculation, you get a refund. If that withholding is less than your tax calculation, you will owe money. And that kind of depends, that's why it depends. Now, this withholding number is determined by this lovely form up here called Form W-4, and you typically get this in the year that you are employed. You can update this at any time with your employer. Now, if you are single or married filing separately, more taxes will be withheld than if you are married filing jointly or head of household. It's just how the math works. And of course, you can fill this out in a very, very detailed fashion. I'm more approximately right rather than precisely wrong. I don't think we know how the stock market's going to do for the year to come, how much interest or dividend income we are going to have. That's an unknown. Or business income if we're business owners. W-2s can be largely predictable, but then how much overtime are we going to work? What bonuses are we going to get? We don't necessarily know. And bonus compensation is often withheld at a flat 24%. So it doesn't really care which actual tax bracket you are in. Typically, and it depends on some are 20%, but typically it's 20, 22, 24% bonuses are subject to that amount of withholding. But if you want to change your overall paycheck withholding, this is the form that you would fill out. And I'll probably create another video on this at another point in time. But from a high level, that is why you get refunds sometimes, and sometimes you don't, and you owe. Toodles.